Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I am going to talk about arrays. So what is array in Java? So arrays is a collection, data structure that we can actually store same type of collection. So for example, if you are creating an integer array, then you can only store integer. But if you are creating string array, then you can only store string. Or if you are creating char array, then you will be only storing a char into the array as an element, right? And also, when we talk about array, we can store same type of collection, and then array is fixed size. So once you create your array, once you decorate the size of the array, you are not going to be able to change the size of the array once you create it. Put that in your mind. So let's get into it. And how do we create an array, right? How do we create an array? So let's say we are going to create integer array, right? Int square brackets number equals new int square brackets. Okay, so this is how you decorate, but it is telling you there is something wrong here, right? If you see red button, red line, that means something is wrong. Okay, it is telling you something is wrong. Because what did I tell you guys? We have to decorate the size once we create an array. So this is the first way of creation of array, right? This is the first way that how you can create the array. But there is another way. Also int square brackets and then num equals and then curly brackets, right? And then curly brackets. Now it is not complaining, right? Now it is not complaining, and I'm gonna store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we filled up our array with the integer elements, but here we only in this line we only decorate the array, but we didn't fill it up. So how do we fill it up? The second thing is we have to know the index is starting from 0. So let's say if there is 5 element here, if there is 5 element that you are going to store into array, you have to start from 0. That means index is going to be ending 4, right? The last index is going to be 4 if you are storing 5 elements into array. So let's say number, you need to put array. So the first element is starting from 0, right? First element starting from 0. Okay, what is my first element? 1, right? I'm going to store 1. And then number, the second element is going to be 2. And the number, the third element, but the second index, right? That's gonna confuse you in a while, but after that you will understand that it's not that confusing. And then the third index, but the fourth element is gonna be fourth. And then number, the fourth index, and the fifth element is gonna be 5, right? Now I stored my element, right? I stored my element. So how can you print it out? How can you print the arrays out? Then let's say I'm gonna print out the number 0, right? I'm gonna print out number 0. I mean the first index, right? What is our first index? Is gonna be 1, right? 1 is gonna be on our console, right? 1 is gonna be on our console. So as you see, this is how you print it out. Number is our variable name, integer variable name, and then number 0, you are telling Java that, hey, give me the first index inside of array, right? Inside of array, give me the first index. Okay, and then so let's say you want to print out the last index number. Last index is the 4, but the last element is the 5th, right? There's gonna be 5 on our console. Okay, it's the same thing here. If you want to print this out, let's say I'm gonna print the third index out in this case, and then the third index 0, 1, 2, 3 is gonna be 4, right? It's gonna be 4. So this is how you decorate the array in Java. This is how you decorate the array in Java. This is the first way. This is the second way you can decorate it. And then how do we get the length? How do we get the length of the array? So length of the array, right? Num dot. So whenever you are working with the methods in Java, all you have to do is num dot and then see. As you can see, it is giving us option. So what can I do with this? I can clone, I can hash code, I can dot the string, I can say dot the string, I can say get class, I can say also length, right? I can say also length. So what is our length for now. 0, I mean 1, there is going to be 5 element, right? The length is 5, right? The length is 5. Length is 5, right? Length is our array's length is 5. Okay, so we talked about how to print it out, right? But we are using system.out.println. So let's say there is 100 of elements inside of my array. Do I have to print? Do I have to create, like, do I have to print it out 100 times? No, right? So what did we learn in the previous classes? We learned for loop, right? We learned for loop. Now it is time to use it. Now it is time to use it. So int I equals, so let's say int I equals 0, since the 0 is the index, right? Since the 0 is the index, and I equals I less than or equal num dot length and then I plus plus. So if you are doing something wrong, it is already gonna tell you, hey, you are doing something wrong, right? And then num I, right? Num I. So my first index, second index, and blah blah, right? And then it is gonna tell us. So I'm gonna print those on the same line, and I'm gonna put some space on the lines, and then see if there is a wrong, if there is something wrong here, right? So it is telling us something wrong here. What am I doing? So let's say less. Now it is telling me that, okay, you are doing something wrong. I mean, you are doing something correct, right? So maybe you might want to start here, and then you want to put this, because this is the last index, right? This is the last index. Num.length -1. If you say -1, then if you put this here, then it is gonna work. Because in some case, so this is actually, let me put this here. How to get the last index from array. This is how we get it, right? This is how we get it. And if I put it here, num.length -1 is gonna give you the last index, right? It's gonna give you last index. I mean last index 4, right? Makes sense, right? Last index 4. Because why it is makes sense? Because it is giving you the length, and the length is starting from 1, right? But if you tell him, hey, give me the -1, that means index is starting from 0. Now it is going to starting counting the from 0, then it is going to give you 4, right? Makes sense. Okay, in this case, so this is okay if you are starting from 0, right? If you are starting from 0, the ending point of your array is supposed to be last index, right? Supposed to be last index. Okay. So I can give you, so let's say we created one kind of array. Let's say this is gonna be string array equals new. I'm gonna actually do this way because this is better. So let's say I'm gonna put apple. I'm gonna put apple, and then I'm gonna say orange. I'm gonna say pear, right? Okay, so this is enough. So this is string array, right? This is string array. And again, if you wanna print this out, again, int I equals. So where do you wanna start? You wanna start from 1 or 0? Index is starting from 0, as you know. Okay, and then I gonna be equal or less than or equal, then array dot length -1 is the last index, -1 is the last index, and I plus plus, right? Okay, and then I'm gonna put here array square brackets and I, right? Okay, let's see. I'm printing my array out, right? I'm printing my array out, and then as you see, it is printing it in order: apple, orange, and pear. We see on the screen, right? Okay, how about if I wanna print them in a reverse, right? If I wanna, so let's say I wanna start from 5, right? I want to start from the last index. Sometimes you might want to start from the last index. And so in this case, what do? The starting point of your array is going to be last index, right? Num, I mean, you can say still array dot length -1, and then I bigger than or equal 0, right? And then I minus minus, and then we will be able to print those out, and then array square brackets I. So still, if you are doing something wrong, it is gonna warn you, right? It is gonna warn you, so we can fix it based on the error that we are facing. Okay, so let's see if we are doing something wrong, and that means like we see something on the console, that means like we are not doing anything wrong. Okay, so as we see now, we printed our array from the end, right? From the end, from the last index till the first index. So the last index, our last index was pear, and then orange, and then apple. This is how we actually print it out. And also, I want to show you guys one more example about, like, for example, you can even create char array, right? Char array, and I'm gonna call it C, and then you can store single, right? You can store single characters here, right? I'm gonna store K, and then char. You cannot use. You need to use this. You need to use L, and then I'm gonna put Y. Right, this is how you create the char array, right? You can store also characters, single characters, right? Single characters, and then you can again print this out. So I am actually, as you guys see, I'm not copying and pasting it previous logics, right? I'm not copying and pasting it, because the way you get used to it, you type it a lot. If you type it a lot, then you will not have a problem with for loop, right? Int I equals, again, I'm gonna start from 0 again, and I'm gonna say I less than or equal c dot length -1, and then I plus plus, right? And then we will see those c I, and then give it a space. This taking time, but I like it. I like doing it. So, and then we will see all the elements which is belong to the char array. This is all about it. If you wanna make some example by yourself, just go ahead and do it, because if you type it, you will learn it. If you don't type it, then you will actually struggle how to handle the arrays. As we say, arrays are fixed, right? Fixed size, and also we can store same type collection, right? As you guys see on my examples, we are only storing same type. So if you are creating if you are creating an integer array, then you can store only integer, and then if you are creating string array, then you can store only string array, I mean string elements. Or if you are creating char array, then you can store only char into the array. Thank you very much for watching. I see you guys in the next video.